Hey, what's up, everyone? So we're coming up to the end of October. The next trading day is Halloween. Ooh, spooky. And we're not doing too badly on October. We could be better. We could be a lot better, of course. But we've had another green day this week, so that's a fully green week, 5 days in a row. And we've not had 5 green days in a row since the first week of October. Now, we had a fantastic start to October. With like 6,000 on the Monday, 5,000 on the Tuesday, then 11,000, another 6,000, and then 14,000 day. So that was a really great week. Now, we've not had a bad week this week. Largely down to Wednesday. We had a fantastic Wednesday. We shorted Meta from the top to the bottom and made 20, not just on Meta, obviously, that day. We made almost $24,000 on Meta, but we made $28,000 on Wednesday. So that was a really good day. We made just over $4,000 on Monday, $500, well, $450 on Tuesday. We had a good green day yesterday at $7,500, and we've had another green day today, $5,000. So we're over goal, and that was the key. So I was trading what I believe sensibly and rationally this morning. However, I did take a couple of risky trades. I weighed up the pros and cons, and I was okay to, with the risk that was involved, I was okay to take a loss based on the fact that we were so green on the week. We had a bit of a cushion. I was okay to take a loss if it went against me, and sometimes it'd be like that. So we traded one particular stock today that was very low volume, wide spreads, but it was very good catalyst, trending upwards and quite volatile. So there was opportunity there, and we managed to get $3,500 on that one ticker. It was heavily shorted as well. So big catalyst, up 50%. Pre-market, short interest of over 50% as well. So I thought, this can't lose. This can't lose. And it went up. We got into a little bit of a pickle at one stage with it. We were never in a losing situation because we did have some goodness on Amazon as well. But we were never in a losing situation, really. And when it went in our direction, we got it for $3,500. So that worked in our favor. Amazon, we traded for $655. Now, we were $1,200 down at one stage with Amazon, and we also traded Intel. So Intel, we got $750 on, and Marathon Digital, we traded that. It was moving up. It didn't really break out when I expected it to, so we cut that short. We only made $25 on that. So all in all, we made just over $5,000 today. Let's go through the trade, shall we? Let's talk through how we actually did that. So here's Amazon, and Amazon, it sold off heavily overnight. It had its earnings, and the earnings weren't that bad. I mean, there's a couple of misses, but it wasn't that bad, and there was some good parts to the earnings report as well. So I felt Amazon was oversold. It was a discount buying opportunity. I still think it's a discount buying opportunity even right now, and Amazon currently is trading at 103, just under 104, and I still think it's a bargain. But that's more of a long-term position that I'm talking about. From an intraday perspective, I felt that there's a bounce due, and I wasn't wrong. I was absolutely right. However, I got my timing wrong. So we got this move up at 7:30 this morning. I thought, okay, I'm now allowed to trade. My broker allows me to trade from 2 hours before the market opens. So I took a long position here, and it started to move up. I thought, okay, we're quids in, and then it moved down. Like, we'll get a bounce on the VWAP, and we actually didn't. So when it broke the VWAP, I got out. $1,000 down. I didn't risk a lot. There was 1,000 shares, so it's $1 per share is what I was risking. I felt that this was going to go back up to kind of 105, 106, or something along those lines. And later in the day, it did go up to over $100, and it actually went up over $100 at the open. And I'll show you where we traded again a little bit later. We actually saw NUVL, which is NUVL. So NUVL was, for us, the one that really made the numbers for us. So we got in here as this made a move up. Big catalyst, low volume, but big catalyst, heavily shorted, big short interest. It was up 50% on the day. So as you can see, it was about $22 closing price yesterday. It was up over 30. I think we got in at 37.29 is where we got in. We wanted to get in for the break of 36, but we were a little bit slow. So we got in for the break of 37 instead. It's a whole dollar miss, but it moved up, continued to move up. We were in a good spot there. We took some profits up at the top. It pulled all the way back down. I thought, okay, some people are saying it's dropped $4 in 5 minutes. It's done. It's crashed. Not so much a crash. When it's moved up, you know, how much? Almost $20, $18. To pull back and consolidate $4, that's kind of normal. It's not a big deal. It's not even 15%. It's closer to 25%. But then it started to consolidate sideways. We did get in here as it started to make new highs. I thought, okay, we've got a bit of a resistance here. Get past that resistance, back above 37 and 37.50, and that's where I look to get in again. So I look to get in again, and it didn't quite pop. So I put a stop in place at $34 and held that into the open. It did pop up, and as it popped up, we were able to take profit there. Gap and go, if you will. Gapped up, and then a couple of minutes, 3 minutes before it actually did go, but then it tested the VWAP on the first candle, continued to consolidate, and then popped up. And when it did, it went up big time. So it moved over $5. So we're able to take profits up at the top end here. And we finished this. We're about at that stage. We're about 2,500 up on this particular ticker. We did trade it a little bit more here. A bit quiet, dog. Apologies. So this came back down here. We got a little pop there. We didn't get in that one. We missed that one, but as it pulled back, we got the next one, and we got this one, and we managed to get a little bit extra there. And that was took us 3,500 up on the day, so that was a good trade, a relatively easy trade. Even though the spreads were quite big, the volume wasn't huge. It was relatively low volume, but the spreads were wicked wide. At one stage pre-market, there was $1.20 between the bid and the ask, which was a bit, you know, if I'm going to be putting a checklist together in terms of what I want to do in a trade, this probably had 3 of the 5, but I felt comfortable taking it because it was so heavily shorted, because it had a really good catalyst. I just felt comfortable that it would pop. And later in the day, I didn't trade it into the close. I'd finished when I got to goal. I locked up and finished and didn't trade anymore. Thought not overstaying my welcome. It wasn't an easy day's trading. There was plenty to trade, plenty of volatility. Again, as with the rest of this last week or last fortnight, the volume hasn't been there. There's been plenty of volume in the large cap stocks, and the volatility been introduced in the large caps with earnings season, and we traded Amazon. So that was the next one we traded. So Amazon, we got in here just before the open. As I mentioned, we traded Amazon first thing, we lost. Then we got in here just before the open. We managed to make a little bit more here. We got it in here and then took profits up here as it started to pull back. We did try again as it popped up here and pulled back. We didn't really make much there. We kind of break even, if you will, on that one. But we did trade Amazon later in the day. And that was about 10:30. We got a big move up, lovely move up. So we were able to get in here as we made news. Broke below the VWAP, it broke above the VWAP, a little bit of consolidation. So as it made a new high here, that's when we got in. It did pull back again and then make new highs again. And we rode that all the way up. And that got us not only green on the day, That's what took us to gold. Now, in between that, we did trade Marathon Digital, and we traded Intel as well. So let's talk about Intel. We're not going to talk about Marathon Digital. It was only $25. So Intel was moving up, and we traded Intel here. So we got on this move up here. So we've got this move up, a bit of a consolidation. And then when we started to break highs here, that's when we got in, and we were able to ride that up, and we made $750. We actually got out here when we got a little bit of a flush down. So we got out. We usually putting stops in place. So that's when we got out there, and we didn't trade that any further. So that was Intel. We finished just over 5,000 up on the day, and I just locked my montage, took the dog for a walk. That was me done. I'm dog sitting right now, so I've got a friend's dog, my dog's boyfriend, if you will, and I've now got 2 chow chows in the house. So, what does that make us look? I've imported my trades. What does that give us on the month? We've got 1 trading day left, Halloween. So you may even see me looking a little bit spooky on Monday, but we've got 1 trading day left. So where does that put us on the month? As you can see here, we've got quite a good green week behind us now. We need a green week a green day on Monday. So let's just talk about what as regulars to my channel will know. If you're new to my channel, you might not be aware. I've set myself a trading goal this year, and that goal is to average $5,000 per day trading profit. Now, there are going to be days where I don't do that. There are going to be losing days, red days, as we affectionately call them. There are going to be days where I make substantially more than that, like Wednesday this week, where I made $28,000. But if I can average $5,000 across the course of the year, that based on a 20-day trading month per month, that gives me $100,000 a month gross profit. That gives me 1.2 per year for the whole year. So that's my goal, 1.2 for the year. Why is that? Because I'm trying to get a 7-figure net goal. And based on an average from the last couple of years, the cost to trading, if you will, the transaction fees, commissions, etc., coming in around 16%. So that would take away that 200K off that 1.2, and it gives me that little bit of cushion, but gives me that goal to get to 7 figures net. Now, if I'm going to have a 100,000 October, I need 17,000 on Monday. Now, that isn't likely, given that I'm averaging 5,000 per day across the course of the year. We're 83,000 at the moment, which coming into this week, I would have been very happy with that. Coming into this week, we were a little bit behind. Well, I say a little bit. We're substantially behind the goal. Now we're not too far off. The goal is actually in sight. It's an ambitious stretch. Could we get 17,000? Absolutely. We got 28 on Wednesday, so it is possible. But it's not likely. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting 5,000. I'm targeting myself on 5,000 on Monday. That will take me to 88. If I can get 7,000, it'll take me to 90. I'm only 10,000 behind. Already, we're ahead of goal on the year. So if I look at where we stand on the year, you can see we're 16K up, $16,000 ahead of goal. So the reason for that is October is the 10th month of the year. So pro rata, I should be finishing October with exactly 1 million if it was 100,000 per month. So I'm 16,000 up already. So we're going into November from October with a little bit of a cushion. Now, unfortunately, that cushion doesn't extend itself to the net number. My net number, as it stands right now, 816. So it's a little bit behind pro rata. If I can have a good profitable day on Monday, we might be able to get pretty much back on track from a net point of view. So it does leave us a little bit to make up in November and December on the net goal, but pro rata on the gross goal, we're on track. So we're not too far abouts. We're there or thereabouts. It was an ambitious goal at the start of the year, and we came into the year in a bull market. So I set this goal with bull market conditions in mind. And since January, it's been a bear market. It's been downwards trending ever since January. So the whole year has been a bear market conditions. And it's not as easy to trade in these conditions. And we're finding this last fortnight that the parabolic movers haven't been as prevalent. The volume just hasn't been there. Now, there are some good movers. We found one today in NUVL. We've been able to trade now. Normally, my strategy involves being long biased, and I don't often go short. My strategy is also focused primarily on the low cap, small caps, or low float stocks that tend to have a lot more volatility, but you can get quick gains and in and out very, very quickly. Now, this last week, I've deviated from that strategy. I've traded the mid and large caps, and I've traded short. And I've traded short quite successfully. I've traded the mid and large caps successfully. What I would say about that is it's good to have a strategy that works, and it's good to have, and that can be, you know, your base point or your focal point. But when the market isn't giving you the opportunities to utilize that strategy with effect, you need other strings to your bow. You need to be able to mix it up, and particularly around earnings season, there's always volatility introduced around earnings season. And you can mix it up with some of the large caps. Now, to mix it up with the large caps, you either need a really good leverage or you need a larger account. So, thankfully, I'm with a broker that gives me reasonable leverage, and I do have a larger account. So I can mix it up with, I can take 1,000 shares of Meta or 2,000 shares of Meta if I want to. I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get any leverage with Amazon today. I was only able to take 1,000 shares with Amazon, but aside from that, I was happy enough with the way that played out. And Amazon, it really did. It moved up as I expected it to. So, as I say, Amazon. Go back to Amazon just a second, and it went up to 102s. Just after I finished trading. Then it did move back up again later in the day. So as you can see, Amazon 103s into the close 104. It's and steadily moving up. So me saying that it was a dip buying opportunity at $94, $95, I was absolutely right. But only being able to be limited on the leverage position made it difficult trading. In terms of getting bigger gains. I could have got a lot more on Amazon if I'd had more leverage. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, my broker decided that it's a higher risk stock today and didn't provide the leverage that I would have expected. So that aside, the markets had an absolutely wonderful bullish day today. If we look at the SPY, so let's look at the 15 minutes on the SPY. You can see here, the bullish momentum that we've had today. Zoom in so we can see it better. But we had this rally up then with Amazon selling off, with Facebook selling off, or Meta. We had this kind of up and down movement on Wednesday. Thursday, it was a gradual sell-off and then a big sell-off at the close with the Amazon earnings. And Apple didn't have great earnings, but it was kind of up and down. And there's quite a lot of negativity in the market yesterday with earnings. Today, bullish. So bullish. Right now, as I'm recording this, 2,700 basis points or 2.7% up is the SPY. Up at 390s is the SPY. So it's had a really strong bullish day, trending upwards, way above the VWAP, and that's what we want to be seeing. That in itself then translates across the markets. If you look at the Qs, which represents the Nasdaq, very similar pattern. and very bullish as well. The Nasdaq up even further at 3.4%. So that translates itself across with the instruments that are making up those indices and those markets. So the likes of Amazon moving up, I had no doubt that that would be the case. We saw Intel moving up that I traded. We saw a number of other stocks, Nvidia and AMD moving up. A lot of stocks moving up, and they went up with bigger percentage gains than of course the market does. So that's one of the reasons I prefer to trade the instrument and not the derivative. So the derivative, you're going to a couple of percentage points. You're going to need bigger leverage, in which case you're taking bigger risk. Whereas the instrument itself, you can get really good moves depending on if it's got an individual catalyst or whether it's just got a sector or market catalyst. An individual catalyst, you'll get bigger volatility, but a market or sector catalyst, you get steady, more reliable gains because of following the trend of the overall market. And they do say the trend is your friend. So whilst you can trade to the downside, and I've been going long, I'm over $1 million in gains growth this year already, and that's primarily going long. I've traded short a few times, but I would say over 95% of my gains have been going long in a bear market. So it does mean that you can make profits to the upside and going long even when the market is trending down. There's always something that's counter trending. So that being said, Halloween on Monday, last day of the month. The goal is in sight. It's a little way off, $17,000. So we need $17,000 on Monday to hit goal. I'm not expecting, as I mentioned, that we will get that, but we'll try. I don't think it's worth swinging for the fence with the first thing that starts moving. But if I see an opportunity, I may well be a little bit more aggressive to see if we can make a good opportunity out of the market on Monday. It all depends if we get some volume. It's just not been there up until this week. Now, individual stocks in terms of the mid and high caps have had a bit more volume, but the lower float stocks just haven't. So let's see what happens on Monday. I'll be doing it again. I'll be trading from 2 hours before the market opens, but I'll be streaming my trades live here on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on TikTok, wherever you got to know me, whichever platform you like to share vision, whichever platform you like to watch my stream, then come and join me from 8 a.m. market time or East Coast, and it's going to be 1 p.m. here in Ireland or 1 p.m. in the UK. And don't forget to put your clocks back, because it is daylight saving weekend, so don't forget to put your clocks back. Otherwise, you'll be joining me at 2 p.m. and you've missed the first hour of my trading. So come join me on Monday, 90 minutes before the market opens, and I'll see you then. Have a good weekend.